Joining us right now is Jeff Gaudier, clinical psychologist and professor of behavioral medicine at Touro University. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming in. So,
Thank you, Kate. Great to be with you.
As much as it is important to celebrate the holidays, it's also important to say you're not alone. This is not uncommon. If you are not feeling so much holiday cheer, what is it about this time of year that brings up sadness in so many, when the goal, of course, of the season is the opposite?
Yeah, and in addition to what you're talking about, the holiday blues, we also see some agitation. Again, that sadness and loneliness that you talked about, isolating oneself. And a lot of that has to do with the stress of all of those great things that you said that we should be celebrating. For some people, it's just a little bit too much, too many unrealistic expectations of having to be present, having to be there, having to be smiling, too many of the sentimental memories of days gone by or people that we've lost, or that inability for whatever reason it may be, Kate, to be with family and friends during the holidays. So all of those things come together and can cause someone to have the holiday blues.
And the holiday blues, of course, not a clinical diagnosis. It's not clinical depression we're talking about,
That's
or any
right.
of the other mood disorders that so many people battle and manage through year round. That said, what should people watch out for this season?
Well, I think it's important for people to understand that if they're feeling burnt out, if they're feeling that perhaps they just can't rise to the moment that other people are enjoying, or they're absolutely dreading the holidays, well, they probably are at risk for the holiday blues. And you're right, Kate, it's not a clinical depression, but we tend to see that people who do have a pre-existing mental health challenge may be more at risk for the holiday blues.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit, but the holidays can also be especially hard for people who are in grief, who are grieving a loss of a loved one. And grief around the holidays can also, I have found, also be additionally complicated for some reason. You know, what's your advice to people if they're experiencing this, or if they, are having a tough time with it as they move through this season?
Yeah, so in this very joyous time, we tend to miss the people that are no longer with us even more because of some of the memories that it brings up. So I think it's important for us to create new traditions. One of the things that we can do is go to, if one is religious, go to a house of service in order to celebrate a memory of that person who's no longer with us. Or even more importantly, sitting at the kitchen table or sitting at the dining room table and leaving an open place setting for that individual, have a libation for them, or just talk about what it is that they meant in our lives. So this way, it's not just about grieving, but more importantly, celebrating the memory of the significance of that individual in our personal lives, as well as that in our families and in society.
Yeah, not it. On the most basic level, it feels just don't go deeper into yourself. Make sure talking about it and acknowledging it is, of course, I think an important part of getting through it as best you can.
Oh, yes.
It's good
Absolutely.
to see you.
And also touching base with others.
Absolutely. It's good to touch base with you, Jeff. Thank you so much.